It's time now for business, and our business editor Kate Moody's here. Hi there, Kate. Let us begin with the latest reaction to Facebook's decision to block news content for Facebook users in Australia.
Yeah, there's growing anger from a number of different outlets here. This was a move that was taken in protest of a draft law which would force internet companies to pay publishers for content that appears on their platforms. While Google has been announcing deals with some Australian media outlets, Facebook took the opposite route. The Australian government said it would not be intimidated into backing down on the legislation, which is expected to be approved by the Senate in the coming days. British lawmakers, meanwhile, have accused Facebook of acting like a bully. The UK's News Media Trade Group echoed those concerns, while analysts say the move underscores the need for cooperation among countries as they try to regulate tech giants. All right, Chaka of the Stanford Cyber Policy Center gave her view to France 24. Take a listen.
Internet users will also assess what Facebook has done here. I mean, you, on the one hand, keep hearing lobbyists and representatives of the company saying, we're in favor of freedom of expression. We should not take content down unnecessarily. But here, even if they admit that it is a small percentage of their revenues, they do not want the Australian proposed law to touch their bottom line, i.e. their revenues, their money. And that's why they're fine to just limit access to information for people, particularly young people who we know access the news through social media. And, I'm not worried that Australia will not find a solution. I think that, people will find access to news on the original websites. There may be new services springing up. We've heard competitors jumping in and trying to, take the space that others might leave. But I think it really shows how willing these huge corporate giants are to push back against democratically elected governments. And that is something that should really concern us.
Let's check in on the day's trading action now. The major European indices closed lower. Losses of over 1% in both London and Milan. The Paris CAC 40 down about 2/3 of a percentage point. Shares of Air France KLM were down 4.5% after it saw massive losses of 7 billion euros last year. Airbus dropped nearly 3%. Wall Street's also trending lower, the Nasdaq being weighed down by tech giants. It's down just over half a percentage point this hour, paring back some earlier sharper gains. Facebook shares are down over 2% after that move in Australia. The number of Americans claiming jobless benefits rose last week, underscoring the ongoing weakness of the labor market. 861,000 new applications were reported across the country. That's the highest number in over a month. More than 18 million people are receiving some kind of benefits in the U.S. That includes those who are covered by emergency pandemic support. Some of those measures are due to expire in mid-March, and U.S. lawmakers are debating proposals to extend them further. Economists expect the pace of hiring to remain uneven in the months to come as the pandemic continues to spread and restrictions remain in place. The French government has announced a €1 billion investment in cybersecurity. 2 hospitals were paralyzed by ransomware attacks this week, highlighting the vulnerability of corporations big and small. Mario Sofas reports.
2 hospitals targeted in a week, as well as businesses and town halls. In 1 year, the number of cyber attacks in France has quadrupled, with vulnerable computer systems targeted by increasingly well-prepared cybercriminals. Now, the French government wants to make cybersecurity a priority.
Les cyberattaquants, de toute façon, de manière très claire, ils ciblent le maillon le plus vulnérable et ils s'appuient sur les négligences. Et donc, en la matière, un tel plan n'a de sens que s'il est exhaustif, parce que si on laisse des zones de faiblesse, les attaquants finissent par rentrer dans ces zones de faiblesse.
An additional €1 billion will be spent on cybersecurity from now until 2025, 515 million of which will be public money. The aim to better protect public services, react more efficiently to attacks, but above all, broaden the research into cybercrime. A cyber campus is set to be opened in Paris's business district next autumn to train students and gather together startups, amongst other objectives. Ultimately, the hope is to increase the sector's revenue from €7 billion to €25 billion by 2025, because, according to experts, France is far behind.
La France est une des cibles prioritaires dans le monde, donc nous sommes la cible d'une guerre économique. On n'est terriblement pas assez préparés, et ça, les entreprises plutôt de toute taille, en fait. J'ai envie de dire, même les grandes entreprises n'ont pas travaillé ce sujet-là, pas assez.
Cyber attacks cost businesses a lot of money. On average, it takes 2 years to restore a company's computer system following an attack.
That's all the business news for now, Tom.
Thank you very much indeed. Kate Moody there, our business editor.